ever think about like hitting the pause button on life?
Mm.
Especially in like a really, really bad situation.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're looking at today.
Oh.
It's suspended animation.
Okay.
We'll be going through the BBC Future article, Bringing the Dead Back to Life.
Sounds intense.
It is pretty intense.
Yeah.
Are you ready for a wild ride?
I think so. It is wild.
Yeah.
And this isn't sci-fi.
Right.
This is really happening right now. It
Yeah.
could really change how we approach like critical care.
So let's get started with the procedure itself.
Okay.
It sounds almost too incredible to be true.
It does. You're right.
Yeah.
So picture this. Someone's critically injured,
Okay.
maybe from like a gunshot wound, something like that.
Yeah.
And time is really of the essence.
Right.
So doctors replace their blood with a cold saltwater solution.
Wait, so they actually drain all the blood out?
You do.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like hitting a giant pause button on the body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah, at that temperature,
Right.
around 10 to 15 degrees Celsius,
Yeah.
there's no brain activity, no heartbeat.
Right.
Clinically, the patient is considered dead.
So the idea is to buy time.
Exactly.
So surgeons can repair whatever the injury is
Yeah.
without like the ongoing blood loss and organ damage.
Yeah. And so here's where it gets even more remarkable.
Okay.
After the injury is repaired, they slowly warm the body back up and they reintroduce blood.
And then what?
And then,
Do they have to like shock the heart back into rhythm?
no, they don't.
Wow.
The heart often restarts on its own.
Oh, wow.
The article describes it as the body turning pink as the blood starts flowing again.
That's wild.
It is.
What about the brain though?
Yeah.
After being essentially shut down, does it bounce back?
That is one of the most fascinating things about this.
Yeah.
They've done extensive trials with pigs,
Mm.
mimicking these life-threatening injuries.
Right.
The results are pretty astounding. They've seen a 90% recovery rate after an hour in suspended animation,
Wow.
and there are minimal side effects.
So the pigs wake up and they're just like fine.
Well, they're maybe a little groggy at first,
Okay.
like after a really long nap.
Okay.
But what's remarkable is that they show no signs of brain damage.
Wow.
Some of them even remembered tasks they learned before the procedure,
Oh, wow.
and others could learn new ones after.
So their brains were essentially on hold,
It seems like it.
but their memories and learning abilities are still intact.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling.
It really is. It challenges our understanding of how the brain works
Okay.
and what it can withstand.
Yeah.
And remember, all this is happening while there's no heartbeat
Yeah.
and no measurable brain activity.
This is already blowing my mind, and we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Now, I know there are two brilliant researchers at the forefront of this work,
Yeah.
Dr. Peter Ree and Dr. Samuel Tischerman.
Yes.
Are they both working on, like, the same aspects of this suspended animation technique?
They're both pioneers in this field,
Yeah.
but they do have slightly different approaches,
Okay.
which I find really interesting.
Yeah.
Dr. Ree seems to have a bolder vision for the future of this.
Like, how far into the future are we talking?
He's looking beyond the immediate medical applications.
Yeah. Okay.
And envisioning a future where we could extend this suspended animation
Uh-huh.
for much longer.
Like, we're talking about putting someone in suspended animation for, like, months or even years.
Potentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, think about like long-distance space travel,
Right.
preserving organs.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, the possibilities are vast
Yeah.
and a little bit mind-bending.
So he's thinking really big picture,
He is.
pushing the boundaries of what we consider possible.
Yeah.
What about Dr. Tischerman?
He's much more cautious,
Okay.
at least for now.
Okay.
He is laser-focused on using this technique to save lives
Okay.
in emergency situations.
Really honing in on those immediate practical applications where every second counts.
Exactly.
This whole concept really forces us to reconsider what we thought we knew about life and death, wouldn't you say?
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
We've already blurred the lines somewhat with things like CPR.
Right.
And therapeutic hypothermia, where what was once considered irreversible
Right?
can now, in some cases, be reversed.
Right.
But this takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, I mean, if someone can be declared clinically dead
Right.
and their heart stopped for a significant amount of time
Yeah.
and then brought back to life,
Yeah.
like, what does that even mean for our definition of death?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And that's not even considering cases of what's called the Lazarus phenomenon,
Oh, right.
where someone's heart spontaneously restarts
Uh-huh.
after doctors have given up hope.
Right.
The article mentions a case in Texas
Okay.
where a man survived 3.5 hours of CPR. He even regained consciousness and was talking during the procedure.
Oh my gosh.
It really underscores the fact that death, as we understand it,
Yeah.
is a bit more complex than we thought.
Yeah, it's like the finish line keeps moving.
That's a good way to put it.
So we've talked about how and why of suspended animation,
Yeah.
but how are they actually testing this on humans?
Right now, the focus of human trials is on trauma cases,
Okay.
specifically gunshot wounds.
Okay.
They're the kinds of injuries where every second matters,
Right.
and this technique could buy surgeons that time to repair the damage.
Right. And as we've talked about, the animal trials,
Yeah.
particularly with pigs, have shown really incredible promise.
Yeah, they have.
But of course, there are still challenges in translating those findings to human trials.
Of course, yeah.
For one, the pigs received their own blood back
Right.
after the procedure.
Yeah,
Humans would likely need transfusions from blood banks.
exactly.
And the pigs were also under anesthesia when they were inflicted, which is very different from a real-life trauma situation.
Yeah, very controlled.
Yeah.
So while we've seen amazing results in these
Yeah.
controlled environments,
Right.
we still need to learn how this will work
Uh-huh.
in the chaotic world of human trauma.
Right.
It's very unpredictable.
I imagine that must be a huge hurdle for the researchers to overcome.
It is.
But even with those challenges, the potential of this technology is undeniable, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it goes far beyond just gunshot wounds.
Okay. Let's dive into that. What other possibilities does this open up?
Sure. We've been talking a lot about trauma,
Mm-hmm.
but researchers think suspended animation could also be used to treat internal bleeding
Okay.
from like car accidents,
Okay.
heart attacks,
Uh-huh.
and even some other illnesses.
So it's like hitting the pause button on any medical emergency,
Yeah,
and it gives the doctors breathing room to figure out what to do.
exact.
I'm curious, what are scientists working on now to refine this even further?
Well, they're looking at ways to make the procedure even more effective.
Okay.
So, for example, they're experimenting with adding drug cocktails to the saltwater solution,
Oh, okay.
the one we talked about.
Yeah, and what would those drugs do?
The goal is to reduce the body's metabolism even further
Okay.
and give greater protection against injury during that suspended state.
So they're fine-tuning the pause button,
Yeah,
making it even more precise and protective.
exactly.
It's pretty remarkable to think that we might be on the verge of such a monumental shift in medicine.
It is.
But of course, with any groundbreaking technology, there are ethical considerations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is where things get really interesting, even philosophical.
Right.
I mean, if we can essentially pause life and death,
Yeah.
what does that mean for our understanding of those concepts?
Right. Like, how long is too long to keep someone in suspended animation?
Right.
And who gets to make that decision?
Yeah.
Are we talking about minutes or hours or days or even longer?
These are all questions that society is going to have to grapple with
Right.
as this technology advances.
Yeah.
It's not just about the science.
Uh-huh.
It's about the ethical and societal implications as well.
Right.
Imagine what this could mean for organ donation, for example.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
If we have the potential to bring someone back from the brink of death,
Right.
would that make people more hesitant to donate organs?
Potentially.
Would it change the criteria for declaring someone legally dead?
Exactly.
And then there's the question of access.
Right.
Who would have access to this?
Yeah.
Would it be available to everyone or only to those who can afford it?
It's a huge question.
Yeah, it's a concern with any new medical technology,
It is.
especially one with such potentially life-altering consequences.
Right.
It could create a whole new layer of inequality in healthcare.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's something we need to think about.
Yeah.
But beyond those very real concerns, there's also the wonder of what this research represents.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah.
both humbling and exhilarating to think about what we're capable of achieving.
It is.
The human drive to push those boundaries is pretty incredible.
It really is.
You can see that drive reflected in the work of these researchers,
Okay.
like Dr. Ree and Dr. Tischerman.
Yeah.
They're dedicating their lives to pushing those boundaries of medical science.
They are pioneers in their own right,
Yeah.
taking different approaches, but united by this common goal of helping people.
Their work is a reminder that scientific progress is rarely a straight line.
You're right.
There are bumps in the road, setbacks,
Yeah.
challenges, ethical dilemmas to navigate.
For sure.
But the potential rewards are huge.
They are.
Imagine a world where death may no longer be the end,
Wow.
but rather a temporary pause,
Yeah.
a chance to regroup and heal.
It's a concept that has fascinated humanity for a really long time.
Yeah.
From myths to science fiction.
Right.
And now it's starting to feel like a real possibility.
It's almost too much to wrap your head around.
I know.
But here we are on the cusp of a potential medical revolution.
We are.
So what does this all mean for us?
Yeah.
What would a world with widely available suspended animation actually look like?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Would we embrace longer periods of suspended animation, blurring the lines between life and death and something in between?
What would be the social and cultural implications?
Yeah.
How would it affect our relationships, our careers, our sense of time and mortality?
Big questions.
These are questions that will probably be debated for years to come.
Absolutely.
But one thing's for sure, this technology has the potential to fundamentally alter our relationship with mortality.
You're absolutely right.
And that's a conversation we need to be having now,
Yeah.
before this technology becomes a reality.
It's both exciting and terrifying to consider.
It is, yeah.
It forces us to confront questions about what it means to be human,
Yeah.
what it means to be alive, and what it means to die.
There's no easy answer, is there?
Not at all.
No.
One thing that struck me from the article is this research is still early.
Okay.
There's so much we still don't know.
Right.
So many questions to be answered.
Yeah. It's like we're peering into this uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Filled with both promise and uncertainty.
Exactly.
And as with any new technology, there will be challenges, setbacks, and unforeseen consequences.
For sure.
We need to proceed with caution,
Right.
but also with a sense of wonder and open-mindedness,
Absolutely.
because ultimately the potential benefits are just too great to ignore.
Imagine saving people from these seemingly unsurvivable injuries.
Yeah.
Or extending that window of time for organ transplantation.
Yeah.
Maybe even reversing the effects of certain diseases.
It sounds like science fiction.
It does?
But that's the thing about science fiction.
What's that?
It often has a way of becoming science fact.
That's true.
And this research is a testament to that.
It is.
It shows what we can achieve when we combine human ingenuity with that relentless pursuit of knowledge.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
What are the next steps in this incredible journey?
I think the next steps are to keep researching and refining the technique.
Okay.
And expanding the scope of the trials.
Right.
You know, there's still so much we need to understand about this.
Right.
Like, what are the long-term effects
Right.
of suspended animation?
Yeah.
Both on the body and the brain.
And like we've been talking about, we need to have those tough conversations about the ethics and the societal implications.
Right.
It's not just about like pushing those boundaries of science.
Right.
It's about making sure that we use this responsibly for like everyone.
Yeah, it's a tall order.
Yeah.
But I think we can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout history, we've seen that humans are amazing at innovating and adapting.
Right.
And this is just the latest chapter in that story.
It's a story that's both exciting and a little bit daunting, you know?
Yeah.
We're potentially rewriting the rules of life and death.
We are.
It's hard to even like grasp that.
It's a profound concept.
Yeah.
And one that deserves careful consideration.
Right.
But it also shows the power of human curiosity.
Yeah.
You know, and our pursuit of knowledge.
Right.
Think about it.
Okay.
The idea of suspended animation used to be something out of a myth or a sci-fi story.
Yeah.
And now here we are, seriously talking about it.
It's a reminder that the future is often closer than we think.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even more incredible than we could have imagined.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so exciting.
Right.
It's not just about the practical stuff. It's about expanding our understanding of what's possible.
Yeah.
You know, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge.
Right.
And challenging our assumptions about life and death.
It's a journey with both promise and uncertainty. And it's a journey we're all on together. Yeah.
As we wrap up this deep dive into suspended animation, I'm left with a sense of awe and anticipation.
Okay.
What will the future hold?
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out.
Me too. And I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a much larger conversation about the future of medicine, the nature of consciousness.
Right.
And, you know, just our relationship with mortality in general.
Yeah.
If this research has taught us anything,
Right.
it's that we need to be prepared for the unexpected.
Absolutely.
The impossible might just be a few breakthroughs away.
The impossible might be closer than we think.
And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay.
If this technology were available to you, would you use it? Something to think about.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive
Yeah, thanks for having me.
into the world of suspended animation.